The first one is, why is my conversion rate dropping?
One is the traffic, and the second is sales page, landing page, offer, whatever you want to call it. So the first bit is the marketing bit, if you like, and the second bit is the sales bit. Yep. In January, you have this baseline. We say our conversion rate is 1%, for example. And then in February, we find, well, our conversion rate has dropped to like 0.5%. You know, if you stand still in digital, you are going backwards.
Yes.
Google Ads was converting, but not driving a huge number of conversions, wasn't a huge amount of volume. Facebook Ads was spending quite a lot of money, but wasn't converting. Nobody searches Google for your event because they don't know it exists. Yeah. That's why the Google channel looks really good, because people are already aware and they're already ready to buy, so they search Google and they convert. So your conversion rate's much higher, the cost per conversion is really low, and it looks amazing. Why is my conversion rate dropping, and other animals? So today we wanted to cover a few questions that we get asked all the time through social media, other things that we get. So we wanted to handle a bunch of those. So these are barriers to growth, misunderstandings. So Tom is going to play host and ask me questions, and we're just going to walk through the sometimes simple and sometimes rather convoluted answers. And I'm not going to promise I won't say it depends, because that is quite often the answer, but it genuinely does depend a lot of the time. So let's fire away with this episode of Inside Digital.
Yeah, so a lot of these questions are from PAAs. People always ask the sort of questions you find on Google in 2026, so pretty new, and what people are asking now, and like a back end of 2025 as well. So they are being asked now, they're being asked before, they're going to be keep being asked because people have websites. So
yeah, the
first one is, why is my conversion rate dropping?
It depends.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
So there are multiple things we have to think about when we think about conversion rates. So there are so many different factors as to create the conversion rate. I think the primary things, the primary two levers, there's plenty of others, but the main things, and the first place to look if your conversion rate is dropping, or indeed you have a poorer conversion rate than you would like, is there's two parts to this. So one is the traffic, and the second is the sales page, landing page, offer, whatever you want to call it. So the first bit is the marketing bit, if you like, and the second bit is the sales bit. Yep. So the first thing to understand or look at is, did something change in the traffic? And what I would generally do there is probably use something like GA4, go and look at that and look at segmenting that traffic. So traffic from social media, traffic from ads. Let's say you're running Meta ads or something, or you're running YouTube ads, where it's an interruption, you would expect that traffic to convert at a lower rate. So if, let's say you have a situation where, let's say in January, you have this baseline, we say our conversion rate is 1%, okay, for example, and then in February we find, well, our conversion rate has dropped to like 0.5%. We're still getting the same number of conversions, but the conversion rate has dropped. Why has it got so bad? Oh, someone launched a YouTube ad. We're getting loads of cheap clicks for like less than a penny or less than 3 pence or whatever it is. So we're getting now a ton more traffic, which is then diluting the equation of, conversions over clicks.
Yep.
To give us that conversion rate. So actually the thing to do there, if your conversion rate is dropping, is first have a look at the traffic. So if you go into GA4, you can segment that data and see is it the traffic from Google Ads that is dropping in conversion rate, or is that still the same? Is the conversion rate worse now from, organic? Is the conversion rate worse now from Facebook ads? So I would definitely segment that first, and then understand actually, have we got fewer conversions and a poorer conversion rate? That's a different problem than have we got the same number of conversions but a poorer conversion rate? So have we just increased our traffic but conversions have stayed the same? So that's kind of thinking about quality versus quantity. So we have to think first about the traffic intent. Should that traffic convert in the first place? And secondly, we've then got our page, and does that convert? Does our offer convert? Have we changed that? Yeah. Now, if you then narrowed that down and then said, right, okay, actually our conversion rate is getting worse from a specific channel, then that's a very different question. So the answer there is, again, segmenting now in a more narrow way. What was it that was converting well from Google Ads before? Is that still the same traffic we are getting? Yeah, so if we use a very simple example, if the search terms we were matching in January are the same as the search terms we are matching in February, then the intent is, give or take, it's the same. So it would be reasonable to say the conversion rate should stay the same. And then there's a whole bunch of things you could look at there. So has our ad rank decreased in Google Ads for those same search terms? If our ad rank is lower and we're now the third or fourth click instead of the first or second, then you probably find you will get a drop in conversion rate. So that would certainly happen. If all things are equal, and that's very, very rare from one month to the next for everything to be the same search terms, same location, same devices, same days of the week, same times of the day, but give or take, it's basically the same and your conversion rate is dropping, there's then two things mainly I would look at there. So the first is, have you changed your page? Have you changed the offer? Yep. I don't know, let's say it's a product, is it now in stock or isn't it? Has someone changed? And as you know, if you're kind of running conversion rate optimization, you can equally, obviously the point of that is to improve the conversion rate. You can, and I have seen this, people accidentally or unwittingly, unknowingly making changes that have worsened the offer and worsened the conversion rate, and then the same traffic with the same intent from the same channel then doesn't convert as well because the offer page is screwed. Yep. So that's the first one of those two. The second one is, what else changed? Is there an environmental change? So, for example, our conversion rate was amazing in November and December, but it's really gone down in January. You sell Christmas trees. That's an environmental change. So, but that happens, again, that happens all the time. Something happens in the economy, therefore the demand for a particular product or service changes. Yeah. I don't know, mortgages will be impacted by the interest rate changes. So your conversion rate will be impacted by that, even if the traffic is the same kind of intent. The conversion rate for events, for example. So if you've got a concert or whatever it might be, or a training course, for example, the conversion rate, because that's on a specific day or across a particular couple of days or whatever, if you're 3 months or 4 months ahead of that date, and that's what's on your sales page, the conversion rate will be worse 3 months ahead than it is 2 months ahead. Because there's a chunk of those people who want something now and it's 3 months, so they don't convert. And then 2 months in advance, it starts converting better. It's not because Google Ads changed. It's not because it's now not Christmas, or it is. It's just because, I can wait 2 months, that's fine. And then as you get closer, the conversion rate goes up and up and up. And then as you start getting really close, it actually starts going down. Because, I can't make that one, it's too close. So your conversion rate gets worse. Nothing to do with traffic, nothing to do with the page. No, it's the time of year. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why your conversion rate would get worse. What you have to look for is what is common in the current period that is also common to the previous period. Yep. And try and find, okay, there is my benchmark. It's consistent against both. The conversion rate has gone down for that same benchmark. Same channel, same search terms, whatever. What else changed then? Something is different. Yep. Has anyone changed the page? Has anyone changed this? Has the season changed? Is this event closer than it was? Is it further away than it was? Have we changed? All sorts of stuff.
So much things.
But there's a whole bunch of reasons why that happens. And then, of course, there's another one, which is competitors are making a better offer than you.
Good point. Yeah, everyone's always marketing, aren't they? They're always changing things.
Yeah. This doesn't stand still. If you stand still in digital, you are going backwards.
Yes.
You can't just go, we've nailed our ad on Google Ads, it's brilliant. And then Google changes the format and it doesn't work anymore. Or everybody else has changed their ad copy and theirs is better than yours. Or Google changes something in Google Ads, or Meta changes something or there's a whole bunch of new ads targeting your audience with a different product in Meta. And you're not getting your market share. Like you cannot sit still, you cannot stand still, you cannot just go, that works, it's done. It's never done.
Never. So more the question is not why is my conversion rate dropping, it's more where is my conversion rate dropping, because you have to find where it is. Or, there's so many options that could happen.
Or is my conversion tracking broken? Which also happens.
It
does happen. Did someone introduce a cookie policy? I mean, we've seen that genuinely. It's like, oh my God, the conversion rate is terrible. We put a cookie policy on their website.
There's an obvious reason. Yeah.
So how many leads did you get? We're brilliant, about 20% more than last month. Okay. So it's not dropping at all. It's just not being measured.
Yeah, that's
or it's being measured in a different way that is less accurate.
Fair enough. Sounds good. So there's another question which is probably asked quite a lot. Is does more traffic mean more sales?
No and yes. So if you have a traffic source which you can scale up, a bit like I was saying with the previous question. So if you have a traffic source that you can scale up, then in principle, if you are, simple example, let's say you're running Google Ads and you're bidding on a specific set of keywords that drive to a landing page and you have a consistent conversion rate for those search queries and those keywords, then if you double your budget and get twice as much traffic, then you should get twice as many leads and therefore twice as many sales.
Yep.
Because, like I say, there's a benchmark. So it's something you can go consistently, that little thing there converts at that page for those search terms. So if I can get more traffic of exactly the same type, then you should get more sales. But just saying, well, Google Ads works, let's do Meta Ads, was a completely different platform, reaching a different type of audience at a different point with a lower intent. No, that does, that's more of a different type of traffic. But more of the same type of traffic, yes, in principle, that should work.
Yeah. You need to know your audience, obviously. You need to know that first, because if it's the right type of traffic, isn't it? That's
so
drive the sales.
What we do with in the growth work that we do is really nail down three kind of heroes, if you like. So those might be for e-commerce. That might be 3 hero products. That's where most of our sales are driven from.
Yep.
Well, how could we optimize those pages to make them better? Because if we improve those by 20%, we get a much bigger business growth from those 3 than we do from anything else.
Yeah, they work.
But also, we know that most of the traffic for those 3 products come from a particular source. They might come from 3 or 4 places, but we know that the traffic that comes through source A to product 1, 2, and 3 is the formula that's driving 40% of our revenue. Well, if we can double the traffic from source A, same type of traffic, and we can increase the conversion rate by 20% on the pages, then we get a 2.4x growth for those 3 hero products. So that serves as your flywheel. So, yes, in principle, that then works. And then you kind of take that blueprint and say, well, what do we do now? We've scaled that up. We can keep scaling it up, but you are going to reach a limit. So what do you do next? Well, you go in one of 2 or both directions. You then say, well, we've got these products that sell really well from this channel. Let's start another channel and get some more traffic through that, and then convert the products that we know already convert from the other channel. So, do you bolt on another channel, or do you take what you've learned from those 3 hero products and apply it to the next 3 superstars that aren't yet heroes? Can we take what we've done to optimize these and apply it here? And the answer is usually yes. Then you start rolling out through the other 10,000 products. But just rolling out those principles, having tested that. In principle, more of the same traffic would give you more sales, assuming you are already getting sales from that channel with the same intent. That's scalable. But just getting more traffic of any sort, if you just want more traffic, run YouTube ads. You can get clicks for less than 3 pence.
That's it, right? Yeah.
But it's not high intent traffic. They're not searching for your product like they are on Google, where you're paying £3 a click, and the conversion rate is 5%. On YouTube, it might be 3 pence a click, but the conversion rate is 0.01%.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
they're different traffic sources. So I think you have to isolate. I think the real question is, if I get more of this traffic
Yep.
that is creating sales, will that create more sales? Yes, it will.
Which leads us on to our next question. It's quite nice, actually. And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how good the traffic actually is. But it's, how do I know if my website traffic is actually good? The right stuff, I guess.
So metrics-wise, really easy, actually. So if you, as most websites are, running Google Analytics GA4, then if you segment that traffic by channel or source medium, something like that, but channel's the easy one, then you can obviously look at the comparison of how do visitors from those sources behave.
Right.
So how many do I get? How many visits do I get? How many pages do they visit? How long do they stay on the website? How many of them create what they now call an engaged session? So if you were to compare Google search traffic, whether that's organic or paid, you might find that the engaged rate, the engaged session rate, if you like, the number of engaged session percentage, is far higher than YouTube ads, where you'll get a lot of clicks from kids watching Peppa Pig videos, or kids are on mum's phone watching a video and your ad comes up and they accidentally click on it. So of course they land and they leave. We used to call that a bounce back in the day, but they've now turned that upside down. But if you want to understand the value of the traffic, obviously you can look at, well, how many leads did we get from that channel? What is the conversion rate? So that's the end game, but you can see that much easier if you just look at the engagement metrics per channel. So if you're seeing high percentage of engaged sessions, then that traffic is high quality. They're landing on your website and they're interested in what your website is showing them. So they stay, they navigate around, they click around, they look at things. Whereas if you're interrupting people with YouTube ads or Meta ads or something like that, then the engagement rate typically you will find is far, far lower. That doesn't necessarily mean it's worse or better. They have a different purpose.
Yeah.
So I think, very often, we talk about the funnel, we talk about top of funnel, creating the awareness, the interest of your product or service. Great with YouTube, Meta ads, very often it serves that purpose. And then people, your audience will then perhaps search Google and then find your brand later and come back through search. So the intent to start with, there was no intent. They didn't intend to come to your website. They didn't intend to see your advert. You interrupted them with your advert. And therefore, people who come, the audience that clicks those ads, you can create quite a high engagement rate if your ad is really closely targeted and the web page is really well optimized. And I'm immediately going, well, you've interrupted me, but this is really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Then obviously the engagement rate and the conversion rate is still going to be good. So again, it's not good or bad. It's just it's different, a different type of audience, and the offer that you are making to them and the page that you are showing them might be very different. So if you interrupt people with a free thing, you might find your conversion rate is really good from Meta ads.
Yep, makes sense.
And the traffic is maybe cheap enough where you can make that work. So download our free training on XYZ, and then you've got an upsell to a course. Like you could do that on Meta ads because the clicks are much cheaper than they are perhaps on Google search.
Yeah, it's always expected as well, isn't it? On Meta ads sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. But if if you're bidding on the keywords for that type of course, you'll probably find it's 5 or 10 times the amount per click.
Yeah,
but they are looking for a course that you are selling.
It's way more intent. Yeah.
Whereas with Meta, you're targeting the audience generally that might be interested in your course.
Yeah.
But they might have just done a course last week, but you don't know that.
No.
You're just saying, well, you're an accountant and we're selling courses to accountants, and that's it. I'm like, but they may or may not be interested. Whereas search is much more laser targeted. They are looking for this course. We sell this course. That's why the conversion rate is much higher than Meta. However, the thing you have to remember is the conversion rate is an important metric, absolutely, but the cost per conversion versus the value of the thing that they bought is what's important. So to make the math simple, let's say that the Google Ads click costs 10 times more.
Yep.
and the conversion rate is 10 times higher than it is from Meta. Well, that's okay. It just takes me 10 times as much traffic. Each click costs me a tenth. So the cost per conversion is actually the same,
right.
which still makes those clicks valuable, but they're only worth about a tenth of what they are on Google Ads. That's why Meta ads traffic is so much cheaper.
Yeah.
That's why YouTube ads traffic is so much cheaper. If it takes 1,000 clicks to get a conversion from YouTube ads, and I'm paying a penny a click, then it takes 10 clicks on Google Ads, then I can pay 100 times more per click on Google Ads, and I will.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's very different. But yeah, I would have a look at bounce rates or engagement rates per channel, and that will give you an indication of the quality of that traffic. Are they interested in what it is you are selling? And then you can look a bit further down the line, sort of more metrics that are more sort of further along in that process, where we're saying, well, what's the conversion rate? Are people buying this thing?
Yeah.
You do have to be careful though. So you can then use Google Analytics, again, GA4, to look at instances, and this would happen quite often depending on the product or service, where you are creating the awareness top of funnel with Facebook or YouTube, but those clicks don't convert very often. The conversion rate is really poor. However, GA4 will tell you that those same users came back through a different channel and then purchased.
Yeah, that's
so
helpful.
we created the awareness and interest and desire, and in the product.
Yep.
And then they have a desire for the product, so they go back to Google and they search, and then they come back again.
Yeah.
So we had an example I used quite a lot from years ago, where we were running Google Ads and Facebook ads, it was called at the time. It's now Meta ads, but we're running Google Ads and Facebook ads. And what we were advertising was a running event. So it was like a 10K and a 5K run.
Okay.
And, the event was like 3 months away, and Google Ads was converting, but not driving a huge number of conversions, wasn't a huge amount of volume. Facebook ads was spending quite a lot of money, but wasn't converting. And so we said, well, look, there's 2 reasons why this isn't converting on Meta. The first is, this is a running event. Now, you would obviously target the audience of people who are interested in keeping fit and running and so on and so on, ideally running.
Yeah.
Oh, I run, so therefore I'm more likely to be interested in a 10K run.
Yep.
Right? Okay, no problem. We've got the right audience. We've got the offer. However, if you interrupt a runner with a 10K event that's coming up in 3 months' time, they are not likely to go, oh, that looks good, click buy.
No.
They're not going to do that. What they're going to do is research the event a little bit more. Where do you do that? Not on Facebook. You don't research that on Facebook. You go to Google and search for it.
Yeah, deliberately do it. Yeah.
Or the other thing with that, and we proved this pretty much was happening, is what happens is I see the ad as a runner, and then the buddy I go running with, next time we go running, oh, did you see that event coming up? Oh no, should we do it? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Now what do? Hang on a minute, let me find the ad in Facebook.
Almost impossible. Yeah.
Like, it's never going to come up.
No,
but you don't do that. So what do?
You go and search for it.
You go and search for it
Exactly,
on Google.
Yeah.
And then Google converts. So it was doing what it should have done, which is created the awareness of the opportunity.
Yep.
If you don't create, in this example, if you don't create the Facebook ad, where you don't run YouTube ads, or you don't do posters, you don't do any of that top of funnel stuff, nobody searches Google for your event because they don't know it exists.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's why the Google channel looks really good, because people are already aware and they're already ready to buy, so they search Google and they convert. So your conversion rate is much higher, the cost per conversion is really low, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So client called us and said, Facebook ads just not working, we're not getting bookings, and turn it off. So we have this conversation, explain this. She says, no, turn it off. So we turned it off.
Man.
2 weeks later, can you turn Facebook back on? We're not getting any bookings. Right.
Proves a theory.
So it was doing exactly what we said it was doing. It was creating the desire. It was creating the awareness, the interest, and the desire. And then the thing that made it work was then search, and obviously the website and the offer. So it's a bit like saying, oh, you work on the checkout at Tesco. How much have you taken today, Tom? Why are your takings down, Tom? Well, and you go, well, we haven't got any bananas, and we've run out of soup, and we haven't got any bread, and all the ham's off. Like, that's nothing to do with the till. My function is sitting here, scanning stuff and taking money and card payments. Like, that's a bit like Google in this instance. All I'm doing is collecting people who already want the thing, and they're searching, and they land, and they buy.
Yeah.
Because they already know about it, and they already want to do the thing. They're already sold, basically.
Yeah.
You have to think about those channels in different ways. Again, depends from product to product. But
definitely.
Yeah. Really
obviously, you
important.
have the Google Analytics, J4, definitely always linked because you need this data to understand any of this stuff, don't you?
A lot of people misunderstand this, and I think it's a huge thing. Once you understand it, it's quite a simple thing to understand. But with conversion tracking generally, you ideally want to use the native conversion tracking for each platform and GA4. So Google Ads uses Google Ads tracking, Meta Ads uses the Meta Ads pixel, any other channel, X, Twitter, whatever, wherever you're advertising, use their pixel. Now, the reason that you do that is Google Ads is agnostic to all other channels, and Meta Ads is agnostic to all other channels. It doesn't know they exist, and it doesn't care. So if a user, take our running example, if a user clicks a Meta ad and then they land on the website, and then 5 days later they come back through Google Ads and then they pay for the event, they register or whatever your conversion is. Now, what happens in that instance is Meta Ads, the pixel reports, so you got a conversion. I did that. Google Ads also says, oh, someone searched for this keyword and they clicked on your ad and then they converted. I did that. So now you've got 2 conversions. Well done you. But you haven't. It's Google doesn't know about Facebook, and Facebook doesn't know about Google. So they both claim it, and that's totally fine. Yeah. Because what you're trying to do in Facebook is look at your different campaigns and your different ad groups and your different audiences to understand relatively how well do they or don't they convert for you. And in Google Ads, you're doing the same thing. This campaign versus that campaign, that keyword versus that keyword, this search term versus this search term, do they convert? So they're not double counting. This is counting 1, it was involved, and this is counting 1, it was involved. What GA4 is for you. So you then, with GA4, can look at multi-channel funnels. So GA4 is going to give you a better picture of how many of our sales come from Facebook, Google sale, Facebook, Google sale. How many of our sales go Facebook sale? How many of them go Facebook, Facebook, Facebook sale? How many of them go Google, Google, Google sale? How many of them go Google, Facebook sale? How many go Facebook, Google, Facebook sale? Then you start to understand how these platforms play together in your funnel. So for a lot of products and services, a lot of lead gen campaigns that we run, they search Google, they click on an ad, they land, they fill the form in, done. It's nice and simple. But there are lots of products and services where that is completely not true, like the running event. You have to have those 2 channels. Google won't work on its own, and Facebook doesn't work on its own, because you see it on Facebook. Oh, it's brilliant. You go to Google, you can't find it. Well, it's not going to convert.
Lost conversion, exactly,
So you have to have the 2 channels. If you are, it gets really complicated, those channels and funnels. It gets much more complicated if you start to talk about an expensive product where it's a much more considered purchase, and if it's a complex purchase, that extends that funnel. So if you talk about a really complicated decision like going on Safari, that could take 6 months across multiple channels.
A lot of planning.
That might start with an Instagram video that's an organic post that's gone a little bit viral because somebody's got this amazing experience with an elephant or something, and they post that and it happens to mention, and then they look up your Instagram, and then they follow you on Instagram, they start seeing your posts, and then they search Google, and then they shop around on the website, then they try and convince their partner that you should go on Safari next year, then you start researching it together, then you look at loads of other different Safari companies, and then you come back and you see your Instagram post again, And then you're doing a retargeting campaign on Meta ads, and that comes up on Instagram, and they go, oh yeah, we must book that. And then they click that, and they finally ask for a brochure, and you count that as a conversion. And then 2 months later, they finally book. Like, where's the
funnel,
attribution?
Yeah.
What did that? Oh, it was all Instagram. It was all that viral post. That's what started it.
Yeah.
You know, but we're into
such a long time
attribution. But you know, for most businesses, where it's a simple and the conversion is I just want a quote, or the thing I'm buying is quite cheap, or the thing I know I'm buying is really simple and it's not complicated at all. So, it's a bit old school, but I want to buy this movie on Blu-ray.
Right.
I already know what the movie is. I already know what the format is. All I need to know is it in stock? Can I have it now? How much is delivery?
Yep.
Like, that's it. There's no complexity to that. And all you're doing is going, how much is it? $14.99. Right. How much is it there? $12.99. Is it in stock? Yes, on both. Free delivery on both. That one. But it's usually one click to convert on that stuff.
Yeah,
You know, you don't generally get into this whole multi-channel setup.
No.
You know,
no thought process
it's not so
way.
complex. But yeah, So there's degrees of good when you ask the question. You know, how do I know if my website traffic is good?
Yeah.
So you have to look at where that is coming from. What was that audience doing at the time they saw the ad and clicked it, and what is it you're wanting them to do?
Yep.
So if it's coming from Meta and you're interrupting people, good traffic from there, you might measure in it's an engaged session. Mm-hmm. They are landing, they are browsing around.
They now know about you.
And they know about you, and they've engaged a bit with your brand, they've
Yeah.
engaged with the ad, and therefore the traffic is good. If your measurement of good is, did it get me a sale, then you might decide, well, that's not good, I don't want to do Facebook.
Right.
Like our running girl, right? Whereas the traffic was good. It was doing what it should, which is create the awareness and interest. I know when the event is, I know where the event is. Now I can consider it, but I've got to think about it for a few days, talk to my buddy who I might do the event with, and then decide to do it. And now I have to go to Google and find it. So you have to decide what good means, but what good means for each of those channels.
Yeah, which is tricky, isn't it?
And then the metrics would be engaged session, how long was the session, and possibly did they convert, did they register interest, did they download a guide, whatever you might be doing with your funnel. But then the Google Ads search side, is my traffic good? That would definitely be more, did it convert or didn't it? And you'd be looking at things like search term reports. Is that relevant? Is that the right stuff? Is Google matching me with the right traffic to get people to come to the website in the first place? So, there are degrees of good, and what good means depends on the channel and what you want it to do.
Yeah.
It's not a simple answer.
No, which falls back into the why is my conversion rate dropping? Because
they're all related.
Aren't they? Exactly.
Yeah. And it's. I think we did a blog post years ago of like Facebook versus Google Ads, like which one's better, and it's like, well, that's like saying what's better, an elephant or a car?
Yeah, true.
Like they have different purposes.
Yeah.
Now, if you said what was better, Google Ads or Bing Ads, like they're the same. They're in the same part of the channel.
Yeah.
What's better, YouTube ads or Facebook ads? That would be a more reasonable question. You are comparing kind of apples with apples. Might be a different variety of apple, but they're still apples with apples.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas Meta ads and Google ads, they have a totally different purpose.
Yeah, ultimately,
and they're both great
together. Yeah.
at what they're for. They're both great at what they're great at, but you can't use the same measurement for things that do have two different purposes.
No.
It just doesn't make sense, and you'll end up just making the wrong decisions as a business.
Yeah.
If you are trying to do, and this happens quite a lot. Oh, the clicks are cheaper on Meta, so I'm going to run Meta ads instead of Google ads. Cheap does not mean better.
No.
It does. It just doesn't. Like if it's £10 a click on Google and it's £1 a click on Facebook, but your conversion rate on Google is 10% and your conversion rate on Meta is like 0.5%, your cost per conversion is worse on Meta than it is on Google. So Google wins.
Yeah.
Like if the cost of the traffic was low enough on Facebook to make the cost per conversion comparable, then that would be fine. But you have to weigh them up.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to see what works for your
Test
business.
things, and it's great. All right. I think we'll wrap it up there. That's really helpful, and yeah, we'll hope that give me some insights about how those sort of questions go really, and conversion rates and website traffic, good or bad. Thank you guys for watching.